Good afternoon, everyone. Let me just test the testing mic. Yep. Okay, so it's working. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. So Mr. Ting over here. Just want to make this video to go through the 2019 eMath paper. So you probably seen the video on the fundamentals. So for the 2019 paper, right? It's also important to go through all the different types of papers, right? So I always recommend doing the 10-year series at least 3 times, which not many people is able to do, but then it doesn't matter because only those who want to get the A will get to do, and they will take the time and effort, spend the time and effort to get it done, right? So that sort of segregates those people who want to get an A and those who think they want to get an A, yeah? So without further ado, I'm just going to go through the 2019 paper in preparation for your 2020 O level Emaths because the PSLE is over. I have time to do some O level stuff now. So now let's just begin and take a look. Okay, so this is actually from the 10 series, and I'm not going to be doing the actual questions because I don't want to spend time your time watching me do the question. In fact, some of the answers are already here. If you search through our video channel, you'll actually see me. I think there's a video of me doing the 2019 paper. Okay, so if you want to see that, you can go there. Instead, this video is more about me explaining about the techniques and what are the things involved. So it's going to be slightly or rather significantly shorter video. Okay, so without further ado, let's go in and take a look. So the number of people in cinema is 400, correct? The nearest 100. Write down the minimum number of people that will be in the cinema at this time. So the answer is 350. Now they're looking at minimum. So if you round off this, you're gonna get 400. So this is more like a trial and error kind of a question. Now you know it cannot be 351, right? Also cannot be 349 because if it's 349 rounding off to the nearest 100, it will go downwards. Okay, so we're not going to go there. We want to go up, right? So 350 round off will just nice become 400. So the answer will be 400. So that's a pretty good start for the 2019 O level. Next, explain how the chart above may be misleading. Now the first thing you notice is that uh, this width, I don't know if this width means anything, okay? So, but this number, because the card is so big, it looks so significant. So I would say that the width, right, the width, it's slightly different. So we don't want the width to be different because this looks significantly bigger, but actually it's only, it's like 50, it's like 35, and it's like 20, okay? So that's the first thing that I find a little misleading, right? The width suggests that it is a very, very big difference between the 3 years. Next, let's take a look at the title. Total spending billions, okay. 2006, 2011, so it's like a 5 years gap. Total credit card and charge card spending in Singapore. What else do you find misleading? Actually, probably the number of years. Okay, so really the gap is the one that I find a little bit misleading. Okay, so they did not say how many items to talk about. That's just the first one I'm going to say. Okay, next. Now, next we have indices. Now, for you, I mean, this is the algebra part. You realize that for the paper one, usually what I do is I segregate into the algebra part and the non-algebra part. So here comes the algebra part. All right, so for the first question, simplify x power 6 to the power of 2 over 3. Now this is what we call the power rule, right? If you don't know, you gotta go and recap your 9 rules of indices, which I highly recommend that you go and memorize them. Okay, I'm gonna wear my mask. Okay, so I highly recommend that you go and memorize the 9 rules of indices. Because if you do not know the 9 rules of indices, there's no way you'll be able to do a question like that, because this is the power rule. So in the power rule, what you do is you just take the power and multiply with the power. So 6 times 2, that becomes 4. Okay, next one. Okay, now for the next one, this is same base, same power, but what's misleading is that this is a plus. Okay, it's not misleading, but people might make some mistakes here. It's a plus instead of a multiply. So if they're all add together, you just need to add them together, right? Or you can do factorization. That means you take out 3 to the power 7, and you get 3 of them. So the 3 you multiply in, so 3 to the power 8. Once the base is the same, just compare the power. So 8 equals to 8. Yeah, so far, very simple. Next, express 360 as a product with its prime factors. So 360, you got to do the prime factorization. How you do it is you divide by 2, divide by 2, all the way until the final answer is a 1. Okay, and all the numbers in this column has got to be prime numbers. So prime factorization, this is the product. Now the next thing here is the number perfect cube. What do we mean by that? So this is P, this is Q. Now P and Q are prime numbers. So you would want to, because you have already have the product, I mean the index notation for 360, which is this thing right here, and find the value of P and Q. Now when P is here, that means you want to add something to the 360. Q is here means you want to remove. And they have to be a perfect cube. What it means is that the power has to be 3, multiples of 3. So this is done, this is fine. This one also good. You need to add another 3, and then we want to remove this 5. So 5 at the bottom, right? So we end up with P equals 3 and Q equals to 5. Next one. Okay, the estimated number of Bengal tigers increased from 3200 in 2010 to 3890 in 2016. The number increased by R% every year. Find the value of R. So this will be a compound interest. Compound interest formula is given to you, so just put it in. This is the principal and the number of years being compounded, which in this case is 6 because of the year 2010 to 2016, yeah? So it's 6. Multiply them all together, you get 3890. Is a reverse algebra, trying to find the R in this case. Okay, next. I gotta pause this video. Okay, back here. So this thing looks a little bit complicated. Single fraction in simplest form. Let me just clean this off. So here comes the algebra part, yeah? So this in this algebra portion, this is a fraction, combining of fraction. So for combining of fraction, you just make sure that the denominators are the same. Okay? So what do? Just, you see this is the original one. You need to multiply with 3x minus 1. This is the original one. You need to multiply with 2x minus 3. Where did this come from? Come from here. Where did this come from? Come from here. Okay. So I'm not going to go through all the working. You can watch the previous video for that. All right. Just want to tell you that it's not that difficult. Yeah. Your Emaths is really not that difficult. Next is probability. So a bag contains 8 red counters, 9 green, and 3 yellow. Counter is chosen at random and replaced. What is the probability that is not yellow? So you want to find the total. What's the total number? 8, 9, 17, 20. So total is 20. So what is the probability? It's not a yellow counter. Not yellow means it is 17, right? Because it's red, 8 and 9. So 8 plus 9, 17, 17 out of 20. So probability questions are pretty simple as well. Next. Okay, here you got to do a bit of algebra because x green counters are removed. Find the probability of choosing a red. Then they give you a new probability, which is 2 out of 3. So you got to do a bit of reverse, yeah? So you let the x be the number of green that's removed. So if you remove 20 over x, which is unknown, the probability now becomes 2 over 3. So that's why we form this equation over here. So this probability question is slightly tougher. You got to do a reverse. Okay, next, factorization. This is your standard factorization. If you do not know this, it means you are bad in your fundamental. Just go and revise. Okay, so 3p squared plus p minus 10. This is a standard quadratic equation. You use the box, to go and factorize. Next one. Okay, so next, choose a symbol to make a correct statement. So we got this 33% and 1/3. Now 1/3 is actually 0.3333. 33% is just 0.33. Why? Because 33% is 33 over 100. So 0.3 is obviously less than 0.333 because there's this little stuff at the back. Okay, next. Now solving inequalities, the first thing you need to do is to split into two. So this is one group, and then after that, here's another group. And then you solve as per normal, like an algebra question. Next one, P is directly proportional to Q cubed. Now, the first thing you need to know is the formula P equal to K Q cubed. If you do not know this, your fundamental is bad. Okay, please go and revise. So once you know this, then just substitute the numbers and boop, there we go. It's pretty easy. Now, a change in Q produces a change in P. When the Q is multiplied by half, the value of P changes by a factor of m, 5m. Is it related to this? Is the question related? When the change in Q produces a change in P, I think it's related. So, for example, in this case, when Q changes, we change the Q, produce a change in P. When the value of Q is multiplied by half, the value of P changes by a factor of m. So, yes, why? Because half. What is this half? When Q equals 1/6, the formula P equal to KQ cubed. So because Q multiplied by half, so you have a half cube as well. Okay, hence half cube is 1/8. So the answer will change by 1/8. Factorize. Now this is rule number 3. A squared minus B squared equals to A plus B times A minus B. Alright, that's it. So you gotta factorize this with fundamentals, yeah? Alright, factorize completely. This is a grouping 2 by 2. This 2 followed by this 2. So you see, so far all these are the basic algebra, paper 1 stuff. Next. Okay, we have a quadrilateral ABCD in this case. Now what's a bisector? Angle bisector ACD. ADC. ADC. So take your set square, mark here. Then from put the pointy end here. Then after you have marked out these two, put your pointy end here, mark here, put your pointy end and mark here, and then draw a straight line. Okay, so this will be your angle bisector. Perpendicular bisector AB is pretty easy as well. Take your set square, put a pointy end here. Use another color. So make an arc somewhere here, make an arc somewhere here, then put the pointy end here, arc, and you should get a straight line, right? Perpendicular bisector. Okay, never mind, next one. All right, so vector not tested. Skip this. Okay, next will be the trigonometry. Find the bearing of Singapore from Delhi. Singapore is here from D. Now the trick to know is that because they say from Delhi, so from D, you put your crosshair here, and they're actually looking for the angle from here to here. Okay, so the most challenging part is actually understanding what they mean by bearing of something from another place. Okay, find the bearing of Delhi from Tokyo. So Delhi is here from Tokyo. So remember we say from where? So it's from here, put a crosshair here, right? Delhi is here, so just go all this way. Okay, so this is Delhi from Tokyo. Next. Okay, sketch the graph. Now, to be able to sketch this, you need to understand that this is of the form completed square form, right? So completed square form, the characteristic is that the -2 will give -2 and 9 will give us the minimum or the maximum point immediately. So in this case, it's a maximum point because it's a negative x square curve. So this plot, right? So you know that your maximum point is here. Now then you need to find these 2 points. Now to be able to find these 2 points, you let y go to 0. Then you find x. Then you know the 2 points. So far simple, it's quite okay. Okay, next. Show that OAT and OBT are congruent. Here use the RHS. So you need to know all the rules, SAS, SS, SSA, RHS rules. So it's fine. Okay, next one. Find normal speed for the first hour. Okay, so this is a distance time graph. Now for distance time graph, you just need to know that the gradient is the speed. Okay, the gradient. If you find the gradient, you find the speed distance time graph. But this is more like a distance from A. So the distance, yeah, displacement, more like a displacement time graph, right? So you find a gradient, you get a speed. That is the key to this. Okay, next. So this part list the elements in R. What's the elements in R? Factors of 30, right? So it's like 1, 2, 3, oops, 4, no, 5, 6, right? All the different signs you need to know, like this is intersection, intersect. How about here? This intersect, now, union, intersect, subset, is not an element. Okay, so these are the key things which you have to remember. Let's try to remember that. Okay, next ratio. So 7 is to 5. They spend $60. So simple ratio. So you realize that at this point of time, it's not algebra anymore. Okay, it's all your basic mathematics, logic, ratio, reasoning. All right, next one. The diameter. Okay, so this is similar and congruent. Right. Now, what do you need to know in this part? Similar in terms of the length. If the small one is 4 is to 10, the ratio will be 2 is to 5. Now 2 is to 5, you want to square it, becomes 4 is to 25. Okay, because this is what we call the linear scale, and this is called the area scale. Okay, linear scale, area scale. Now, but I think later on they're not going to find the area. They are looking at the capacity. So capacity is the volume, right? So you got to switch to cubic scale. Okay, so the thing to note here is you need to know the difference between the linear scale, area scale, and the cubic scale. All right, next one. Okay, next is matrix. So for matrix question, for the matrix question, there are a couple of operations, right? So it's your row times column if you are multiplying matrix. If you are just adding or subtracting matrix, it's very simple. Just take the element in that box, do the operation with the same element in another box, right? So 3 times 2 matrix, take a row times column, you get this. Find QP. Yeah, just do row times column, okay? Okay, next, the diagram shows the product gradient using this one equation. Okay, finding the equation of a line. So what do you need to know? Y equals mx plus c. That is the most important thing. Y equals to mx plus c. And m, of course, stands for the gradient. C is the y-intercept. So in this case, you got to find the gradient first, I think. Yeah, right? So you find the gradient, then you got to invert the thing. Once you invert this thing, you can find the other gradient. because this slightly different from your usual one. They have given you a special formula to find the gradient of the other line, which is a perpendicular line. Okay, next. Right, so I think this you have to draw. Skip this for a while. Next, 24. Okay, which interval contains the median height? Now, median height is, okay, median, the concept of median is the one that stands in the middle. So the median height in this case 180 to 200, because there are frequency, wait, what's the frequency? 60. So the half of 60 is 30. So where is the 30th? Between the 30th and the 31st. So 4, no, here. Okay, you gotta calculate, right? So this is 5, it's 8, 4, 9, 8, 17, 17, 11, it's 28, 11 is 28, 28 plus 14 is 42. So the 30th is here, right? 30th is here. So that's why we use the 180 to 200. Okay, mean height. So mean height, gotta take the frequency times the middle. We take the middle of this number, multiply with the frequency. Okay, so this is how we do it. Now, cumulative frequency, the height of the 60 trees. Use the graph to find the number of trees with a height of at least 1.92. So where's 1.92? 1.92 somewhere. Let me see. 180. So 190. Now here the gap 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 gap represent 20. So one gap is 4. Wait, what do they want? 192. 1, 2, 3. Okay, 192 is here. 192 is here. So here, what you do is you draw a line up from this point to here, from here to here. Okay, so that will tell you what is the frequency. Okay, what's interquartile range? Interquartile range is the third, upper quartile minus the lower quartile. Right, upper quartile minus the lower quartile. Now, where is the quartile? Because there are 60 of them, so the lower quartile is 15. Upper quartile is 60 minus 15. It's 45, somewhere here. So you go here, come down, find the range. Go here, come down, find the range. Big number minus small number, you find the range. Yeah, it's easy. All right, sequence. The sum of the first n terms is this, when n equals, okay, substitution, yeah? Then simultaneous equation, okay? Sum of first n term, yeah, find and substitute n equal to 10. And we're done with the paper 1. So I'm just going through all this very quickly just to show you that it's not that bad, okay? This is Emath paper 1. It's quite okay. So you need to know your basics. If you don't know your basics, it's going to be tough. So without further ado, let's look at paper 2. Okay, this paper, is this paper 2? Yeah, this is paper 2. Okay, last year's once again. Now paper 2. Once again, what I'm doing is I'm just going through, I'm not going to solve the entire thing, okay? I'm just going to go through the first few steps, what you need to know, how to start this thing, right? So you have a fraction divided by a fraction. The first thing is change into times. Then after that, flip this, right? So become p over 2r cubed. So 4p squared r over 3 times that, and continue to do. Next, substitution, super easy. This is changing the subtract formula, also not too bad. Algebra stuff, express this in the form. Now this is called computer square form. So you need to know the computer square form. So if you do not know computer square form, fundamentals, right? So basically, you need to make sure that the coefficient is equal to 1. You take this b divided by 2, square it, then you add it, and you minus it. That's that. add it into the question. Okay. Okay, so at this point of time, if you do not know what we are talking about, please go and revise, complete the square. Next, write down the coordinates of minimum point. Now, after you have completed the square, this value is your x value, and this value will be your y value. So the coordinates of the minimum point is actually minus q, comma p. This is the x value, and this one is the y value. Okay, next, algebra again. Now here, combine the fraction. So how to combine the fraction? Multiply x minus 3 here, sometimes x minus 1, and you get one big thing equal to 2 over 1 cross multiply. Okay, so these are the first steps. Right? I'm just going through the first step so you know what to do. Calculate cx. You see, cx is over here. This is the line. Okay, so am I given? I'm given one line, two line, and an angle. So looks like cosine rule. Okay, so use cosine rule to do this. What's cosine rule? The a square equal to b square plus c square minus 2bc cosine a. Okay, cosine rule. XAB. Sine rule. Yeah, so this question is sine rule, cosine rule. It's that. Area, same thing, half AB sine C. So, yeah. So if you have done enough question, you know, the method will just keep coming, keep coming, keep coming. Okay, you know exactly what to do. You just need to keep executing them. The question, executing the operation. Okay, next. The price of a smartphone is 620. Price of the exchange, okay, it's easy. Yeah, exchange rate is fine. Price of tablet is reduced by 6. Okay, percentage also not too difficult. All right, now here we come to standard form. How many more mobile phone subscriptions were there in 2015 than in 2010? So 20 minus this one, minus take away this. Now when you're operating with standard form, the thing to take note is if you are doing plus or minus, you gotta make the power the same. If you are doing times or division, you just do the times and division, right? Next, percentage is fine as well. That is fine. Try to find like really tough questions, yeah, those non-routine. So here, substitute the x value minus 4 into x, you get p. Draw the graph, use the graph. Here, what you do is you gotta make this equal to this, right? So how do we do that? Just take 5y equals to 10 minus x. So y equals to 10 minus x over 5. Okay? Then take this equation, put it equal to this equation, and you should get this one. Okay? Next. Okay, plot the graph. What is this? Okay, I'm going to skip this. Difference product. It looks like a number pattern kind of thing, right? So you gotta do it. Just read the story. Nice. Okay, circle. Now the way we do circle, you need to know the six circle properties. What are the 6 circle properties that I always ask you to memorize? Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now these 6 circle properties must be like stuck in our head. Right, first one is the twin angle where this equals to this. Next one is the angle at center equal to twice angle at circumference. Right, this is twice of this. Next one is the 90 degree. Here is 90 degree. Next one is draw diameter. Like that. Here is 90 degrees. And cyclic chord here plus here is 180. And the last one is a alternate segment theorem. So it's not so good to start with. draw a line across. So this one equal to this one, right? So alternate segment here. So you must know your 6 circle properties, then you will do this. Let me just give you an example. ABD. So where's ABD? ABD. So ABD is here. ABD. Yeah, I need to find that. So to find that, I need to find this because according to the, here, this rule, angle center equal to twice angle circumference. This is 2 times of this, right? So to find this, I know that here is 23 as well because this is isosceles triangle. This is a radius of isosceles triangle. So I can find here, take this number divided by 2, I get that. Okay, so your 6 circle properties, you need to know very well. Okay, likewise for this one, I'm not going to go through that. Okay, 6 circle properties. Next, calculate angle in radian. So radian, what do you know? Arc length, r theta. Formula I think is given. Then after that, radian mode, pi radian equals to 180 degrees. Okay, I think that probably helps. POQ. Yeah, because they give you minus the parameter of 1 minus sector. Radius for, yeah, you have the radius, you can find this, right? So r theta is the arc length. So you can find the arc length, use the information. Vector, skipping all vectors. Now, next year we're going to do this. Okay, find the volume. Now, to do this one, you need to know the general volume of this item will be, you got to find the area. After you found the area, multiply by 25. Okay, that's it. Probability is okay. What do you need to know here? Let's try. So the probability, both are blue. Now blue is 9 over 25. So now if both are blue, you got to multiply with 8 over 24 because there's no replacement. That means you take out the blue, you're not going to put it back in, right? So the first probability is 9 over 25, second one is 8 over 25, which you multiply together, you'll never get this, okay? So it's wrong. Draw probability, possible outcome, 1, 2, 1, 2. So blue, red. Fill in all the probability. Yeah, it's okay. Right, so go on. All right, so Layla lives in KL. Now this type of question you gotta really read. It's a ratio question, so there's no special fundamental or particular formula that you can apply. You just gotta read and understand how the whole thing works, and we're done. Right? So surprisingly, Emath, I wouldn't say that it is okay. Emath, I wouldn't say that it is super easy, right? I just think that a lot of the questions are doable, and that if you have done enough practice, which you really need to do enough practice of the past year paper, generally you'll be okay, right? So do not panic. Just go and do the paper. Yeah. So now we have like about a month more to go. Still time. So what do you need to do? Just go and practice your 10-year series. Look at the fundamentals. We have a video about that. And then just try the paper. Yeah. So I've proven to you, I've shown you that, whatever is being tested, they're not trying to kill you. Okay. They're not trying to kill you. You just need to practice a bit. Okay. And you'll be fine. All right. So in the next video, I'm just going to show you how we memorize some of the formulas, right? So there's a set of formulas that I want every one of my students to memorize just before they go into the exam. And then after that, what they do is just before the exam start, they quickly write out this thing and it will help them tremendously. All right, that's it. So that'll be the next video.